The sales robots have taken over, and they're decimating deals left and right, destroying them right in their tracks. On the AI for Sales podcast, our mission is to empower everyday sellers to embrace AI superpowers to build new bridges and crush quota. Dr. Joel Abon said it best in the AI for Sales book. In sales, time kills deals. In AI for Sales, AI kills time. Join our hosts as we learn from the C-suite of the world's fastest growing companies about how you can leverage AI today to transform your sales revenue engine while being the best version of you.
Welcome, everybody, to another AI for Sales podcast. I am with a special guest from the East Coast today, and he is the president of a company called Insure Analytics. We have Andrew Chermark today, and we're going to talk about something that's outside of the AI and the sales motion, but I think you'll find some parallels. And so I'm so excited to talk to Andrew. He used to run Nextel stores across the country in a region and has now moved into analytics and tracking around vehicles. And so powered by AI largely. So I'm really excited to have Andrew here today. Andrew, welcome to the call.
Oh, good afternoon, Chad, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Man, it's fun to be here. We were catching up about, I remember Qualcomm was a customer of mine. So CDMA and all that kind of technology, I'm sure. And Nextel was a big partner, right? So Qualcomm, correct, I think, was the chip inside of those Nextel phones back in the day.
Yeah, they were. I tell you that if a lot of people don't know, that push to talk, beep, beep. A lot of people really liked that. It was instantaneous communication, and it was very productive and efficient.
Yeah, the walkie-talkies of our time. I guess there's cell phone apps now that you can plug in that give you the walkie-talkie effect. So if you're doing like one of those lines and you're driving and you're doing some kind of a thing where you're out there for political or whatever, big lines. I remember one time I downloaded that app and I was able to walkie-talkie into everybody in the line. So it's kind of
yeah, it's funny.
Well, so to help our audience connect with who you are as a person, I like to kind of ask the question about your past. Where were you raised? What do you remember was your passion when you were younger?
Well, all I can say is I honor my parents, my mom and dad. I owe everything to my family. I grew up in northern New Jersey, about 5 miles north of Giant Stadium. A lot of people call it MetLife Stadium. That's the new one. If you grew up in that area, we still call it Giant Stadium. But yeah, I grew up there and, raised by my dad was a policeman. My mom was a school teacher. And, grew up with some really great family values. I'll never forget my dad when I graduated college. He said, "I'm going to give you one thing, son, one thing." And I said, "What is it, Dad? A brand new car?" And he goes, No. It's my last name, Chermark. Don't embarrass it. And you know what? It stayed with me all these years. And, we operate our company like that with integrity and honesty. And my mom, on the other hand, she was a cheerleader growing up. And my mom was very passionate, as you can see I am. And she said that I had a gist for life. And I do. I'm very passionate. When I was a young kid, I was always working. Policemen didn't make a lot of money, and my mom was a school teacher. So, when I wanted that brand new bicycle, my dad said to me, "Andrew, there's a shovel in the garage. You can go shovel some snow," right? And then when I wanted my moped, my dad said there was a lawnmower in the garage. You can go cut lawn. So I guess growing up, my ambition was to just work hard. And if you want something in life, just go and earn it and just do the best you can.
Yeah, love it. I think our country probably is going to go through some times that we need to relearn some of those lessons here in the times we're in. And so speaking about that, AI to me can be the great equalizer, because some people grew up in a nice place in New Jersey with two parents. Other people didn't. And they maybe went to high school, they got a GED. Some people got arrested, went to prison for a year. Like, there's so many different people from all walks of life that, to me, AI gives you this new coat of armor that, if used properly, can give you new added skill sets. So if you were to think about AI, obviously you're using it in your business. Think about what are you seeing out there? Where can AI help companies, humans? What's the biggest business benefit that you're seeing around AI?
Well, obviously, I know it's all about trying to replace salespeople and all. There's all that kind of stuff going on, and I do appreciate it. It is a good tool, productivity, efficiency. But in the world we live in, it is about relationships, and people buy from people they like and people they trust. As far as where I see it going, I just. It's hard to have that crystal ball because there's so much that it can do that we're really not sure of what it will do. I guess the main thing I would say is, what would I want if I did have that crystal ball and I said, oh, what could AI do for me and my business, my company? Is I think it would be just trying to help me stay more organized, help me be more proactive in things. And, I talk a little bit about AI in my business, and I'll tie it together as we go on the conversation of how I believe that'll work.
Yeah, and you said there's three main areas. The one I was most fascinated by in our pre-talk was that you've got some kind of camera in the cars, in the trucks. Is that right? And then you can monitor when someone nods off or reads their phone, and it can buzz at you, right? Like, what a simple concept, but how powerful for safety, keeps your insurance rates low. I mean, there's so many values there, but talk to us a little bit about how AI is used in the car and in the truck.
Yeah, so AI along with machine learning, it's obviously very complicated, and none of us will ever figure it out. I always tell people the simplest terms. You put a pot, you get a pot of boiling water, right, and they boil it down, and they're spitting out actionable business intelligence, which is a combination of AI, machine learning, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? The main thing is it's using that kind of technology to, first of all, get people home safe to their families. I mean, that is the first and most important thing that we need to do. All of us need to be conscious of driving safe on the road. AI will actually kind of look at a person's face and eyes, and whether you have sunglasses on or not, it's focusing on your movement and your head, as you said earlier, with the drowsiness or looking down at your phone or whatever that may be, distracted driving. And a lot of the technology nowadays with telematics companies is to provide in-cab coaching, to provide, safety mechanisms such as either a beep, an alert, or even someone coming out of the camera saying, "Put your eyes back on the road."
And is that an AI or is that a person that would come in and actually give?
No. It's just, instead of a buzz noise, it's a pre-recorded message that says, "Put your eyes on the road."
Wow.
But there is other things
you
too.
actually got this in your car because obviously you want to know what it feels like for a driver to be using it, probably, right?
And I got to tell you, at first I was very apprehensive to it, like everyone, these privacy issues, am I picking my nose? Who knows what you're doing in your car, But I got to tell you, after personally using it and it actually helping me get me out of running into back of people, and then having customers use it, where we actually had a customer that was driving down the road and the other customer was coming directly at them, and they had to veer off the road and hit a telephone pole to avoid a head-on collision. And without that video evidence, it would never be able to exonerate the driver. Without that evidence. So it's a good win for drivers, and it's a good technology.
Wow. So I associate this to some of the tools that are coming out for salespeople, because there's prospecting tools that can help you call more people, that can help you write a better email that's personalized, that, keep your eye on the road kind of concept in the front of a truck, but also in the sales world. Now, at some point, many companies say, well, you don't actually need the driver anymore of the sales cockpit because we're good. We're just going to have the AI do all the work. What are your thoughts on human in the loop? Because I think there's a parallel between a person driving a truck and human in the loop to a salesperson in the cockpit of a sales situation.
Well, again, that's like the magic crystal ball. But if we had it, I think to your point, you're right. You definitely need some sort of human in the loop, whether it's probably will be remotely at some time in our lifetime, Chad. We'll probably be a little old and gray, or more older and more gray.
A little more old and gray. That's right.
That's right. But it'd probably be somebody remotely, probably similar to somebody in the military, working a drone. Because there are there's going to be certain intersections in certain geographic regions in this country where agnostic driving is not gonna work. At least in the beginning stages in the urban areas of America.
Yeah. And I look at it as percentages, right? I watched this show on AI about a month ago, and I think it's on Netflix, and it was about fighter pilots. And they had these highly trained 30-year vets get into the cockpit, and they put them up against AI because the AI can watch every single situation in the history of the known universe around fighter pilots. So it's going to look at you and know what you're going to do because, right? And it can wait till the last second. The fighter pilots' downfall was that the AI had no fear. And so it could get all the way to the last second, and then the other person's going to bail every time. Where a human is going to wait maybe another 1/10 of a second, or they're going to pull out a 1/10 of a second earlier than the AI. Wow. And it was fascinating because the AI won 10 times out of 10 against a major known fighter pilot.
Wow,
that's where I look at it as, man, it really could get to a point where the AI is doing more of these manual labor kind of jobs.
Yeah. And, I you said earlier about, where you think AI is heading, or if I had to, what would AI do good for my company to help others and provide a service to other customers and clients is, we're all in the business, in insurance and helping people get home safe and managing fleet risk and safety. And, I would like to see if AI could actually figure out a way to change the behavior, attitudes and behaviors of people, because when you're driving, these AIs can kind of tell you, put you in a risk pool. And then from the risk pool, we can tell you, okay, this guy needs daily defensive driving videos. This guy needs coaching. This guy needs that. But I think I would love to see them try to tie in these types of behaviors, like the behaviors, and try to tie it to what kind of attitude were they in? Was it raining that day? Maybe people are a little sadder if it's raining, and try to see if the AI could tie in figuring out what their attitude and behavior is, and then try to create solutions based on the feedback you get from the AI and the camera.
Yeah. I was at a conference a couple years ago, and the keynote talked about who's going to wear the pants in the AI family. And that's it's obviously someone builds the AI on the back end, right? The engineers, the coders. Like my son's about to graduate from a coding school next May. And so there needs to be people, smart people that build the systems. But yeah, I mean, if you can have AI that shows you, like, for example, there's a ski boot insert called Carve, and all you have to buy now is the insert, and it tracks all the points that hit the ground. So are you carving enough? Are you leaning forward too much? And the AI will talk to you in your headpiece while you're skiing, as if you had a coach right there. So it's pretty
wow. Really, and you know what? I got to tell you that's a remote coach. They could probably sell is that a SaaS model, software as a service? Is that a monthly fee you pay for that?
You buy the unit, you insert. I remember 3-4 years ago, I got an email and said, "Do you want one for free?" And I didn't act fast enough, so now I have to subscribe if I want to get into that.
Subscribe, yeah. Well, I mean, living in Colorado, you got a lot of skiing out there. That's for sure.
That's for sure. So thinking about, obviously we're talking about it in the truck, and then you also use big data and AI so that, to your point, categorizing risk pools of certain drivers and reducing costs for the insurance carriers, I suspect, as well as the customer. I mean, talk to me a little bit about the value. If you didn't have AI right now in your business with 10 or more employees, Would you have to have a lot more employees? Would you be paying more money? Like what's been the value of deploying this kind of AI for you?
Well, the value obviously is payroll and trying to run lean, right? We have used services in the past. I know I saw on one of your podcasts or on your website you had used Connect and Sell. They're one of your customers or subscribers. We are a user of Connect and Sell. We believe in that technology. We had a subscription with them in the beginning of the year, showed some very valuable results. There's a lot of different types of programs out there that companies can use to increase productivity and efficiency. As far as how AI would work with how products and different things like that. It's really customizable. As you know, you're in the business of researching, educating people on AI. I'm in the business of using AI, not only in my own business, but using the AI to educate and help employers get their employees home safe. And some of those things include driver scorecards, which is the newest thing out in telematics, so to speak, where they use artificial intelligence and machine learning to really produce a driver scorecard. It's kind of like a score. It's kind of a report card you get in high school. 0 to 100. The higher the score, the safer the driver. And it's really a lot of people are embracing this. Because it's not just always, I know we talk about productivity and efficiency, but you know what? We're humans and we care about other people. We're not animals, right? And, people care about other people when, you have relationships with them and you work with them. And people are embracing it from not only the insured, which is the business owner, but brokers and insurance carriers. And they're starting to collaborate a little bit in trying to share data, which really is AI, machine learning data, to reduce collisions and accidents and get people home safe to their families.
Well, what's interesting is recently, over the last 3-4 months, I've had the opportunity to work with professional NFL, NBA alumni, people who leave their sport. And recently I was in DC at the Museum of the Bible, and we launched the Pro Player Prayer Project. It's a lot of P's, 4P, P4. And one of the folks that came on, his name is KJ Wright. And KJ retired from Seattle Seahawks in December of last year. And he came on and said, guys, I know we're talking about prayer and faith and everything here. I got to tell you, I miss the structure that I lived under for 13 years in the NFL. So if you think about that, as AI comes into play, whether it's a carved boot or monitoring you in the driver, in the truck, or the insurance company looking at the driver. KJ lived in that world for 13 years and he misses it. So just like you talked about, you've got it in your car. And at first you're like, I don't know, is this going to be Big Brother? Is it going to catch me picking my nose or whatever, changing lanes too fast, accelerating. But the business value, once you get into that kind of structured life, as KJ could attest to after 13 years, it's a good thing because it can improve our longevity, our safety, everything. So I really believe we're at the start of something. The internet changed everything, and a lot of people made a lot of money in the internet days. And I believe we're at the tip of the spear related to AI being implemented for companies just like yours.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. And thanks for sharing that. I wrote that down. And as I said earlier with you before our podcast, I have a tremendous amount of faith and I believe in God and, I believe in helping others. Just be kind, help others. And thank you for sharing that because, people sometimes get caught up in their day-to-day routines and whatever that may be in life, in regards of whether you're, regardless of your occupation, it doesn't matter. We're all in routines, and we all need to have good habits, and also too, we have to be willing to change. As you said earlier, I own Nextel stores. And, I reinvented myself and I had the help of other people, mentors and people that I'm very grateful for giving me the chance to educate me. And this has been great, Chad. I appreciate you having me on. And, again, I really believe that if everyone is just open to change, and just kind of entertain it, because AI, machine learning, and you're absolutely right. We are at the tip of the spear. There's so much more stuff that's out there that I think people are afraid to tell the public because they don't want to freak everyone out.
Well, it's just like when the calculator came out, or the machinery to till your earth and plant at scale, and robots in manufacturing. And so what's interesting is my son, I mentioned, is graduating from Colorado School of Mines. When ChatGPT came out, I handed him my phone and showed him and his roommates, hey, check this out. And they about lost their mind. They were like, wait, you mean this can program advanced code? So just this year, a year later, after really generative AI became a big thing, it's now okay to use it in their classes. And so at first they were like, well, should we bust these kids for doing it? No, it's part of the world. Let's now let it be integrated into our society, into our minds, and leverage it and not be afraid of it. We need to face it head on and figure out where it can go. Now, there's ethical questions, right? I think we need to have very smart people to bring in all the ethical ups and downs of these things. But I think it's here to stay, and it's going to change and make a lasting impact on society for decades and centuries to come.
Let me tell you, Chad, you're bringing me down memory lane here, brother. When I first started at Cellular One, everybody remembers the movie Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
When he's on the beach with this big phone. I remember I was saying it was called an Ultra M. It was from Motorola.
Yeah.
And I sold that phone. I think it was $1,600 when I first got into the cell phone business. And I would never remember him. I always remember him saying, this is your wake-up call, bud.
This is your wake-up call.
Okay, so let's use this to all the listeners and everybody watching here today. AI is your wake-up call. And you know what? Just embrace it and learn. Every day, as we all know, right, is a learning experience. So, just be open to it. That's all I could say,
Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you, if you're interested, anyone listening today, my other life is Pro Player Prayer Project. We're going to be having people to the Super Bowl week, leading up to the Super Bowl, with a lot of these players. And so if you want to do an experiential event, join us there. Just visit Pro Player Prayer Project. It's not posted yet, but it will be in by the time this podcast airs, it'll be there. We'll put it that way. So,
that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, Andrew, really fabulous having you on the show today. Andrew Chermark with Insure Analytics. That's the website, right? Insure Analytics.
Yeah, it's with an E, insureanalytics.com. And obviously, if you want to learn more about how you can keep yourself safe on the road, your family members, or your commercial fleet, visit our site, and we'll hopefully give you some free educational material and try to help and guide you to drive safe on the roads.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being on another AI for Sales podcast. I've enjoyed this conversation, and hopefully you can take some of these nuggets to get ahead of the curve. Don't be crushed by the AI wave, but ride it. There's a lot to learn. And I love it when us folks that have been there, done that, are jumping on the wave. So appreciate you here today, Andrew, and have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bless. Thank you. God bless. Thanks, Chad. Thank everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, you made it this far in your AI for Sales journey. Want to augment your sales growth? First, leave us a review and then visit www.scalex.ai to claim your free strategy session today.